Silver! Away! A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. In the early days of the western United States, gun law ruled the reign. The local sheriffs and district marshals were unable to preserve law and order, and time after time they appealed to the masked rider of the plains for assistance. He never disappointed them. His matchless courage, his strength and cleverness were always ready to serve the cause of justice. And when the winning of the West was an accomplished fact, the pioneers gave most of the credit to the phantom figure who fought so tirelessly for peace and security. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. From out of the past come the thundering hoofbeats of the great horse Silver. The Lone Ranger rides again. Come on, Silver! We're heading for Plainfield. Saddles waiting on the trail ahead. Hi-yo, Silver! Away! Tonto, the faithful Indian companion of the Lone Ranger, was guiding his powerful paint horse, Scout, across the open country east of Plainfield when he heard a shout from the nearby trail and...
Indian! Hi there!
Oh, Scout, oh. You call Tonto?
I'm over here.
Tonto, do that. Get him up, Scout. Oh, Scout. Oh. What you want?
Redskin, I wonder if you've seen anything of a fella I've been looking for.
What name?
His name's Jet Graybo. I don't reckon he's using it. He's tall, rangy hombre, and he's likely riding a gray.
There are plenty tall fella around here. Plenty gray horse.
Well, I ain't so sure about the horse. It might have changed off since the last I got word of him. But if you once seen the fella, you never forget him. He's got arms that are most too long for him. He walks and rides both all stooped over like. He's half bald and his eyes are close together and shifty.
You, lawman?
Say, how'd you guess it?
Me see badge on vest. Why you want feller named Jet?
Sorry, Redskin, but that's government business. What you've seen for yourself, you're welcome to know. For the rest of it, I figure the less said, the better. Now then, Redskin, if you ain't seen Jet, why, I'll just...
Me see him.
Hey, you did? You sure?
Me meet him north of here.
To the north?
Him go round town.
How long back did you see him? How far away do you figure he is by now?
Him not far. Maybe 1-2 hour ride.
Which way would I go to catch up with him?
You see big rock over there?
Over by them foothills? Sure.
You get by rock, you find old trail. Him take that trail.
Redskin, if you told me this straight, you done me a favor I won't be forgetting. I come from Crystal Springs all the way back in Kansas, and this is the first real chance I've had at that fella yet.
That all right.
Right now, I got to push along. Adios, Redskin. Get up. Get along there.
Long ride, heap fast. 1, Outlaw, plenty bad. Tonto tell white friend. Get him up, Scout.
The United States Marshal, following Tonto's direction, rode swiftly on. He skirted the rock Tonto had pointed out, picked up the trail, and finally approached a wild jumble of ancient lava, shale, and dry arroyos. Then suddenly a rifle shot cracked the silence, and a bullet knocked the hat from his head.
What in blazes?
Come closer, Marshal. Right up your horse.
Oh, boy. Who there?
Now heist your mitt.
Jet Graybo.
Surprise, huh? No, you don't. Keep reaching. Start dropping your hand again, and I'll drill you.
How'd you get the drop on me? How'd you know I was coming behind you?
I ain't no fool, Miller. Now walk your horse this way.
Get up.
That'll do.
Oh, there.
Now climb out of that saddle, but keep your hands in the air.
What do you figure this is going to get you, Jet? You can't keep dodging the law forever.
Let me worry about that.
Well, go ahead and drill me. Fix me like you done all the others. You ain't going to find me begging off.
I got a different scheme.
Huh? You ain't going to kill me?
Miller, you're going to get a taste of your own medicine. You're going to find out just what it's like to have the law gunning for you all the time.
It's been your own fault.
Maybe so, but that don't come into it. Miller, you're going to be a crook. How do you like that? How do you think you're going to take to sitting behind bars?
You're loco.
Yeah? What made you head this way to hunt me out?
There wasn't no place else you could go where you wasn't known.
Uh-huh. By that same way of figuring, you ain't known here neither. You ain't in Kansas now.
What of it?
Just this, Miller, just this. If I was to show up in that town yonder, wearing your marshal's badge and showing folks the papers you carry, who'd say I wasn't a real U.S. Marshal?
You'd never get away with it.
Don't see what's to stop me. And Miller, if I was to describe a fella like you to them same folks and say as how you was a crick, wanted bad back in Kansas, why, I reckon they'd take my word for it.
You rotten, scheming skunk. You'll live to hang someday, Jet. Just as sure as I'm standing here. And I hope I'm there to see you do it.
I've heard you couldn't keep a fella from hoping. We'll see. Now hand over that coat.
You...
Just a second while I relieve you of them 6 guns. There. Maybe they'll be safer if I was to toss them where you can't reach them. Now then, give me your coat like I said.
You got the drop on me. But maybe someday it'll be the other way around. Take it, blast you.
And the badge.
Here. Now, what more do you want?
These'll be enough, I reckon. And now let's see what kind of papers you got in this here pocket. Careful, oh, I'm still watching you.
Go ahead and watch.
This one certifies you're Harry Miller. A real honest-to-gosh U.S. Marshal, huh? Let's see this one.
That paper don't concern you.
Shut up!
What's so doggone funny? You ain't figuring on taking those.
Miller, you mean to say old man Randolph wants me so bad he's willing to pay $1,000 for it?
You'll kill his boy.
Gosh, this is the funniest thing I ever heard tell of. He gives you this here paper, which is just the same as an order for $1,000 in cash.
He'd pay even more to see you hang.
He's a mighty big man in Kansas, Miller. I reckon there ain't a feller west of the Mississippi that ain't heard tell of him at one time or another.
What of it?
There ain't a bank in the West that wouldn't hand over $1,000 on the strength of this paper.
Jet, if you're figuring on using that paper for yourself, then you are loco.
I'll use it, Miller. You just bet I'll use it.
You're just what I said you was. A scheming skunk.
This was a reward Randolph set on my head. To go to anybody what turns me in. And it was writ so you could pay the cash right over.
You...
Well, I've changed my plans. I ain't leaving you loose. I'm taking you into town myself. And Miller...
Well?
I'm going to be the first outlaw that ever collected his own reward.
Tonto had told the Lone Ranger of his meeting with the United States Marshal. The masked man assumed a disguise and entered Plainfield to learn the result of Miller's manhunt. As a result, he was present when Jet arrived in town, holding a gun on Miller, who now wore the outlaw's clothes, while Jet had taken the marshal's badge and papers.
Whoa there, whoa there, whoa. Get down from there, you crook.
Jet,
And
I'll
quit
see...
pretending you're what you ain't, or I'll drill you here and now. Hey, stranger.
Yes,
This here the sheriff's office?
it is.
Know if he's inside?
Been there all morning.
You're a marshal?
Huh? Oh, you seen my badge, huh? Yep, that's what I am.
Stranger, this
I
sidewinder...
said to quit that. Open your big mouth again, and I'm liable to forget the reward's only paid for bringing you in alive. Now then, get on inside.
The sheriff won't
Shut
believe
up.
you.
Go on, get in there.
Look here, Sheriff.
Don't on your crooked hide. I've just about lost my patience with you. Sheriff, I want this hombre locked up.
Yeah?
Reckon you can see my badge. My handle's Miller. This here gent's known as Jet Graybo.
Graybo?
Never heard of him?
Can't say as I have.
Well, I figured maybe you hadn't. You see, him and me are quite a ways from our home grounds. I've been trailing the critter for more than a month.
Listen to me, Sheriff.
Keep still till the marshal's had his say. Go on, Miller.
It's like this, Sheriff. Jet here's wanted bad. He's slick and he's a killer. The last thing he done was to kill young Lou Randolph. I guess even if you ain't heard of us, you heard tell of Lou. He was Dade Randolph's boy.
Dade Randolph. Jumping Jehoshaphat. And this polecat drilled a kid?
That's just what he done.
Gosh, Randolph's one of the richest men in the West. There ain't a feller I know of that carries more weight than what he does. They say Randolph even makes him set up and take notice back east.
That's so.
And this hombre here killed his boy? Say, he sure must be wanted bad.
Bad enough, so I was told to keep after him till I got him.
Marshal, I'll lock the polecat up right now.
Thanks, Sheriff. He's
Blast
a
you,
bad one.
Jet. I'll talk even if you have got a gun on me.
You keep quiet.
Sheriff, I'm Miller. I'm the U.S. Marshal. This fella here is Jet Graybo. He held me up and took my badge.
Told
and
you
then
he was a slick one, didn't I, Sheriff?
You gotta believe me, Sheriff. You let this skunk get away with that trick he's pulling on you, and you won't never hear the last
That'll
of it.
be about all of that. Here's identification, Sheriff, if you got any doubt about who I am.
Wait, listen,
And, Sheriff, I don't mind hinting that the kind of cooperation I get from you will all be writ down in the report I'll be sending to Randolph.
Sheriff, if you let
Look
this
here,
fella...
mister. You ain't the first crook that's claimed to be somebody else. And likely you won't be the last. But I'll tell you this. I've been sheriff of this county for 15 years and upwards. I've heard just about every kind of crooked story there is to hear. And I still got my first time to be fooled. Now shut your mouth and start making tracks toward them bars.
Just a second, Sheriff.
Yeah?
Lock this outlaw up and then hurry back here. I want you to be witness that I caught him so as I can collect the reward cash Randolph put on his head. And, Sheriff, on account of the way you've been too smart to let this fella fool you, maybe I'll see to it you get a few dollars of that reward for yourself.
The Lone Ranger saw Miller safely locked up, then returned to his camp outside town to tell Tonto of the outcome.
Whoa, Silver. Whoa, fella. Oh, boy. You see, Marshal?
I did, Kemosabe. He got his man all right. I can't say that I liked his looks, however.
What matter?
The prisoner looked more honest than the man who brought him in.
Tonto think him good feller.
The U.S. Marshal?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. You're usually a good judge of character, Kemosabe. But I thought the marshal was shifty-eyed.
Oh, me not think that.
Not only that, I noticed he walked bent over as though he was cringing from something.
Him not look like that.
What's that?
Him sit straight in saddle.
Wait. Tonto, you didn't describe the man you met. You only said you'd met a lawman who was on the trail of a crook.
Not right.
What did this lawman look like?
Oh, him maybe 40-year-old. Got black hair. Got nose like eagle.
Which describes the fellow he said was the outlaw.
Ah.
I wonder... Tonto, did the marshal describe the man he was trailing?
Him say outlaw shifty-eyed. Walk bent over.
Tonto, call Scout. We're riding. I'm putting on my mask and getting rid of this disguise on the way.
Here, Scout. You think outlaw make lawman prisoner?
That's what must have happened. Jet somehow must have held up the marshal and taken his badge.
Oh.
Yep. What's more, Jet's collecting a reward. Tonto, we've got to prove his guilt and keep him from getting that money. Come on.
Get him up,
Hail, Silver! Away! The curtain falls on the first act of our Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. As the Lone Ranger and Tonto were racing toward town, to prevent the success of Graybo's plot, Jet was standing in front of the sheriff's office with the lawman. The two men had just returned from the bank, and...
There you are, Sheriff, $50. It's for you to keep.
Gosh, Miller, that's mighty white of you. After all, you know it was you that brought the critter in, not me.
Shucks, Sheriff, I ain't greedy. Besides, if it hadn't been for you vouching for me, maybe the bank wouldn't have been willing to pay up the way they did.
As though Dade Randolph's handle on that paper wouldn't be good for 100 times $1,000.
Yeah. Steady there, boy.
Hey, you ain't leaving town, are you?
Nope, just gonna have a ride around.
Oh.
First time I was ever in this part of the country, Sheriff. I'd sort of like to have a look at it before I have to take that killer back to Kansas.
Taking the stage back?
Uh-huh. It'll be safer than traveling horseback.
If you'd like me to ride with you, Miller, and show you some of the things.
Not at all, Sheriff, not at all. Don't you go putting yourself out just for me.
It wouldn't be no trouble.
No, I wouldn't think of it. What if somebody was to come looking for you?
Well...
I don't need nobody to show me around. Oh, yeah, if I ain't back by dark, Sheriff, don't you get to worrying about me. Maybe I'll sleep in my bedroll tonight and not get to town till morning.
Uh-huh.
Just thought I'd mention it. So long.
So long, Miller.
Get up. Get along, boy.
What in tarnation does that polecat want now? Hold your horses, I'm a-coming.
Sheriff, was that jet riding away?
Still sticking to your story, huh? That was Miller rode off.
You doggone idiot. That was the last you'll see of him.
Think so, huh?
Blast it, I know it is. He's got the cash he was after, and he's lit out for good. You go and get him back right now, you won't never see that hombre again.
He'll be back come morning.
Nah.
Though I reckon you're hoping he won't, seeing as how you ain't likely to last long after he's took you back to Kansas.
Sheriff, I've seen some muddle-headed, thick-brained, blind, deaf, and dumb idiots before, but you come from right off the top of the pile.
Shut your mouth.
I won't shut up. You're the poorest excuse for a peace officer I've ever run across. And what Dade Randolph won't do to you when he hears about this won't be worth doing.
That kind of talk won't get you no place.
Because you ain't got the sense to recognize the truth when you hear it.
Miller warned me against you. He said you'd be insisting on this story of yours. I got your number, mister, so you might just as well forget all about trying to pull the wool over my eyes.
No, get out of here. I'm tired of talking to you. Go on, get out. And when you find out Jet's gone for good, don't come back whining around me that you couldn't help the mistake.
What the?
Sheriff,
Who's there? Back here in the hall.
there you are.
A masked man.
Another crook.
Where's the man who called himself Miller? The man who claimed to be a marshal.
Stranger, you can't come in here.
Careful.
Leaping lizards, what a draw.
Put that gun down.
Not until you tell me where Jet Grable's gone to.
Huh? Why, this fella right
Stranger,
here.
do you know Jet?
I know he's pretending to be an officer of the law. You must be Harry Miller.
That's just who I am.
He ain't no such thing. He's Jet Graybo.
I have reason to believe different.
Who are you?
Never mind that. Where's Jet gone?
Try and find out.
What do you want him for?
I happen to know he skipped out with reward money that was to be paid for his own capture. That money must be recovered and his guilt proven.
Stranger, I don't know who you are, and I don't give a hoot. You're the first hombre with sense I've met up with since I hit this town. If you aim to get Jet, take the trail going north. I could see him heading his horse that way when he passed my window.
Thanks.
I got it. You're a part of this crooks. It's just another trick you're trying to play on me. Well, it won't work. And if I meet up with you again when you ain't got the drop on me, you'll be in jail beside this polecat.
I haven't time to argue that.
Hey,
Yes?
make the sheriff let me out of here, and I'll go after Jet with you.
I'll make better time alone. You'll be safer where you are. And I promise you'll go free before I'm through.
But I want
I
to...
haven't time to talk. I'll see you later.
You see, Sheriff? That fella knows the truth.
All he knows is that it didn't fool me. And I just hope he does meet up with the marshal. Then maybe he'll get what's coming to him.
The Lone Ranger, with Tonto following behind, sent Silver thundering out of town in the direction taken by Graybo. It was not long before Jet heard the drumming of hoofs behind him. Looking back, he saw the Lone Ranger and Tonto and spurred his horse onward. But surely as fate, the masked man and the Indian closed the gap that separated them. Realizing that escape was impossible, he brought his mount to a sliding halt, leaped from the saddle, and took refuge behind a sheltering rock. The Lone Ranger threw up his hand in a signal for Tonto to halt.
Oh, Silver! Oh, boy! Oh, there! Pull up, Tonto! Oh, down! Oh, down! Oh.
Just going to try to fight it out, Kimosabe. Down, Tonto. Back, Silver.
Back, Scout. Him got rifle.
It won't do him any good. Watch out, Tonto. He's getting ready to fire again.
Clear out the both of you!
We'll give you one chance to surrender. Turn it down and we'll come after you.
I'll show you.
What we do?
Wait, Tonto. He's getting bolder each time he takes a shot at us. One of these times he'll show enough of the rifle for a target.
Then you shoot gun away, huh?
Right.
Let's get clear out.
We're staying, Jet, and taking you back to town.
Like fun you are.
See, Tonto? He almost showed himself that time.
Him plenty big fool.
Listen to me, Tonto. When Jet's been captured, you're taking him back to town alone.
How to do that?
Don't hurry back to town. I'm riding to our camp, putting on another disguise, and returning to Plainfield. I want to get there before you do.
You got plan?
We know Jet's an outlaw, and so does Miller. The sheriff will likely still insist on believing Jet's story.
That's right.
You said Miller's home is in Crystal Falls, didn't you?
That's right.
I'm going to take a room at the hotel in town, register as being from Crystal Falls, then walk down to the sheriff's office. I'll be there when you arrive with Jet. And don't you recognize me, Tonto.
How you get him?
He's preparing to fire again. I haven't time to explain now. I think you'll find that this time he's taken one shot too many.
Take this blast.
No!
Ah!
Come on, Tonto.
My hand. You're busting my hand.
You were warned.
Wait on me yet.
Don't reach for that rifle.
I'll show you. There, you smashed my gun.
And you're going back to town as we told you. Here, Silver.
You'll pay for shooting at a lawman.
You're less a lawman than I am.
You'll pay
Keep
for that.
still. You can handle him, Tonto. Good. Then I'll be on my way. Here, boy. Steady, old fellow.
What do you want with me? What'd you come after me for?
Yes, that's something you'll find out later. Come on, Silver.
With Graybo safely in Tonto's keeping, the Lone Ranger returned to his camp, hurriedly rid himself of his mask, and assumed still another disguise. Then he rode into Plainfield ahead of his faithful Indian companion, and after registering at the hotel, walked to the sheriff's office.
Come on in.
Good evening. You're the sheriff?
That's me. Something I can do for you, stranger?
I've heard that a marshal by the name of Miller arrived in Plainfield today.
Uh-huh. Say, ain't I met up with you someplace afore this, stranger?
Have you?
That's funny.
Yes?
Can't seem to place you, but I'd swear I'd heard your voice afore.
About Miller.
Oh, yeah. You a friend of his?
I'm acquainted in his hometown. We're mutual friends.
Oh.
When I was told he was here, I thought I'd look him up. You expect him around?
Can't say as I do. He might be back and he might not. Miller rode out of town this afternoon and said as how he might not be back till morning.
That's too bad. I'd hoped to see him.
Well, if he does show up tonight, he'll likely stop here before turning in. You're welcome to wait around or come back later if you're a mind to. Or when I see him in the morning, I can tell him you're looking for him.
I guess that...
There's somebody.
That might be him.
I don't know. Sounded like two horses to me. Let me go, blast your redskin. What right have you got to... Let me go.
You get inside.
Hey, what's going on here? Redskin? What are you holding a gun on Miller for?
The Redskin's loco, Sheriff.
This fella, him not Marshal, him Jet Graybo.
By thunder, if just one more fella shows up around here trying that trick on me again, I'll have his hide, even if he has got a gun in his hand.
Sheriff, this Redskin must be a friend of that crook I brought in today.
Of course he is.
What seems to be the trouble?
Huh? Oh, I forgot you was here, stranger. Why, the marshal caught up with a crook he was trailing and brung him here to be held in jail till he'd get started back for Kansas.
No.
Then first off, that blasted crook tried to give us a story about him being the real marshal and Miller here being the crook. Right after that, a masked fella showed up saying the same thing. And now this Injun. I'm getting sick and tired of...
If there's any question about the marshal's identity, I can help you out.
You? Who are you?
I ain't had the chance to mention it yet, Miller, but the stranger says he's acquainted in your hometown. He come here looking for you.
Yeah?
If the Indian will put away that gun.
Tonto do that.
I've never met you, Marshal. However, I know people who know you well. They've often mentioned you to me.
Who are they?
Why, the Lathrops. They've spoken highly of you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're mighty nice folks.
None better. That reminds me, they told me once about the good work you did when Blackie Benson held up the bank in Crystal Springs.
Huh? What'd they say?
They told me you went after him single-handed and killed him before he could get out of town.
But stranger...
Wait, Sheriff. Isn't that so, Miller?
Yeah. Was kind of lucky, I guess.
They told me another time about how you caught Ace Dugan. They mentioned you shot him up so badly he was crippled for life.
Doggone.
Don't interrupt me, Sheriff. I said I'd give Miller here a chance to clear up his identity once and for all, and that's what I'm doing.
But I
Didn't you get wounded at all in that gunfight with Ace?
Shucks, strange, he never even scratched me.
There was one other outlaw in particular the Lathrops mentioned you arrested. Oh, yes, Billy Cole. They said Cole held up a stage one day. You arrested him the next, and he was hanged on the third. That was fine work.
Well, that's what U.S. Marshals is for, mister. To rid the country of crooks.
Rid the country of crooks. Why, you blasted sneaking pretender, you're the biggest one of the bunch.
Huh? What's ailing you, Sheriff?
Blackie Benson, Ace Dugan, and Billy Cole are all three of them sitting in jail in the next county right now. I helped round them up. By heaven!
Stand back! Stand back, every one of you, or I'll send you straight to Boat Hill.
Stay back, Tonto.
The redskin will go
Now
first.
then. Grab him, Tonto.
Got him. You tricked me. Let me loose. Get your hands off of me.
Hold you. Get away. There's the real Marshal, Sheriff. Release him and put this man here behind bars where he belongs.
You bet I will.
Blast you.
You tried a risky game, Jet, and you failed. You didn't know if I was from Crystal Springs or not, so you had to agree with what I said. But I knew Blackie Benson, Ace Dugan, and Billy Cole were in jail, and I knew the sheriff knew it.
If the redskin had just let me loose so I could get my hands on you.
Get away.
You're going right back in that same cell where I was.
Marshal Miller, if you just listen. Now, how was I to know he warned you?
Forget about it, Sheriff. I reckon maybe you couldn't help it none. But I knew everything was going to be all right just as soon as I heard the masked man's voice out here. Hey, where'd he get to?
Masked man? There won't no masked fella here just now.
But there was. I know there was. I heard him.
You... Well, I'll be gun-whipped by a rabbit. That's where I heard that stranger's voice afore. Him and the masked feller was one and the same.
We gotta find him. It's him that's got the reward coming.
Oh, Silver! Away!
There he goes. You'd better take after him.
Take after him? You hear what he called his horse? Shucks, we'd never catch that fella in a month of Sundays. That was the Lone Ranger.
Come on, Silver, old boy. We've got to catch the stagecoach heading for Ridgeville. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.